Hello everyone, welcome to another Grimgar video. In today's video, I want to talk about probably the most unpopular character in Haru's party, Setora. Or at the very least, as far as I am aware, is the most unpopular character, judging by my comment section, who don't generally either like her or just are indifferent to her. I should point out this is not going to be my autism video that I promised I was going to do for Setora. I'm actually planning on doing that later on when I'm more caught up to the series and have a better grasp on Setora's character before I can kind of point out moments where I can actually like concretely say that she has autism and has signs of it. Because I've done that for Ranta and for Mary when it comes to ADHD and autism. And Setora does have signs, but I want more before I start a video on it. This video is more going to be about her character and what she brings to the story. First off, right off the bat, Setora doesn't really start off at the best places in the party. Haru comes to her asking for her help to get Mary out of being imprisoned by bandits. Initially, Setora asked to take Haru's right eye for compensation for her help, which Haru agrees to. After Mary is set free and is safe, and as Haru is about to give her his eye, she actually renegotiates for something else. She then strong-arms Haru into basically dating, like fake dating, but technically real dating in her mind, not really in real life. She also yells at women who ever even look at Haru in a positive light. Any other girls ever touch Haru, she yells at Haru for letting them touch him. To the point where Haru even actually tells her to shut up, which Haru is just the most passive guy ever. So if you get him annoyed to the point where he tells you to shut the fuck up, that's impressive. And thanks to the love triangle between Haru, Mary, and Setora,
what the fuck is this piece of shit?
it made parts of Volume 10 just unbearable at times. And if you see my review talking about it, you know exactly why. With all those negatives out there, she was, however, responsible for keeping Haru and his party alive throughout all those books. Her and her pet cat were basically just going out and like hunting for food, coming back, cooking food for Haru and his friends, detecting other enemies out in the wilderness, and keeping them all alive for what seems to be weeks, possibly months. She is an expert in weapons combat. She's also very good at negotiating, and she's not a bad strategist. Where all of her negatives come in is when it comes to her ability to socialize properly. Is this gonna turn into an autism video after all? In the village that Setora was raised, Setora actually wasn't really popular. She didn't have many people like talking to her, or they weren't very friendly with her, and she was actually kind of an outcast. She was also a necromancer, and necromancers by design were also outcasts. So she was outcasted in a group that were already outcasts, which is insane. This is because her behavior was seen as very odd. She was kind of like cold and disconnected from most of them. And she also stuck to only one undead golem, which she eventually lost in the story, unfortunately. And she also had a huge fixation for her pet cats that she actually trained to the point where she had like an army of these things. So when she's forced to actually go hang out with Haruhiro and his friends, she doesn't have any of the social skills. She has no idea. At one point, Volume 12, when Haru and his party and Setora were all in an underground cave, and they were going through like a dungeon that was made by dwarves, Haru and Kuzuku were having a bit of a moment where Haru was not sure if he wants to like open doors and chests because he's unsure if they're trapped. Haru did check them, and by Haru's skill level, he says that they shouldn't be trapped. At least he believes so, but he's not entirely, because, you know, Haru doesn't have that confidence in him. And then Kuzuku proceeds to open all the doors that Haru did check, because Kuzuku had such faith in Haru's instinct. Yume says that that's true love right there, as in Kuzuku loves Haru enough to where he just has so much faith in him that he's willing to put himself in danger, and, well, he was right. They weren't trapped. Setora, misunderstanding the situation, proceeded to ask Kuzuku if he was, and I'm quoting here, "Paladin, are you what they would call a homosexual?" Essentially, misunderstanding that you have faith and care for someone can only be seen as romantic. And fun fact, from this point onward, if you pay attention to the way that Setora actually acts in the story, she kind of changes a little bit. Because Kuzuku answers her and says, "No, I don't really see Haru in that romantic light. I just have faith in him because he's such a good leader and he's kept us alive. He's been good to us. So why would I like doubt him?" But Setora actually seems to, and I know this is kind of, you know, pushing this a little bit because there's not that much evidence of this, but I believe Setora took this and internalized it and started to actually grow a little bit more of a bond with the rest of the party. Because for the rest of the story from this point onward, she shows that she can be caring to like Yume, Shiharu, Mary, and everybody else a little bit. Not super strong, but a little bit. When Setora has a mental breakdown in front of the party about how she misses her family a little bit, she lets Yumi actually comfort her. And in volume 13, she actually opens up to Chihiro and Mary when they're at a hotel together. And she also flat out tells Mary, like straight up, Haru loves her. And believe me, I'll talk to that when we get to it, because it makes Mary kind of look a bit dumber even more than before. But we'll get to that. And she also does show some level of caring for Kuzuku too early on around this point, because she actually does, if you notice, make a lot of comments at Kuzuku's like personality. She'll like make jokes about it. She'll be a little mean to Kuzuku, but not in a like typically mean way. It's hard to explain. I think it's her form of flirting, because everyone else in the party doesn't ever get like her like taking jabs at them. She only really kind of like takes small jabs at Kuzuku, and Kuzuku actually does shoot back, but not in a mean way. When she tells Kuzuku that he's like a dog because he's so loyal to Haru, and Kuzuku just barks, and she just kind of like shrugs it off. She's like, oh well, okay, fuck. And throughout the rest of the story, Setora is used as like a mediator. She's good at talking to other people. She tries to negotiate for the party, and especially in, I know I'm skipping a couple volumes, but all the way in volume 18, she actually does negotiate a lot with the dwarves and Haru's party to like come up with a plan and help strategize a plan for an incoming attack. And Setora just helps plan things out and helps kind of like move things along in a better pace. But overall, I do think Setora is kind of like fairly hated by the community. A lot of people think her personality is boring. It's not that she's boring, it's that she's kind of like emotionally distant from people, and that's kind of the point. She was seen as different and weird and disliked by her family, and in a lot of ways that the things that make her family dislike her is one of the reasons that, you know, the community kind of dislikes her. She's kind of cold, distant, but she does have moments of caring with the party, and I live for those moments. I love those small moments that she kind of like shows that she does care about people, and it makes it interesting. And it all kind of comes together, unfortunately, when Kuzuku actually dies, and when she dies at the end of volume 18. Kuzuku dies, Setora loses her absolute mind and attacks Jumbo. Haru theorizes that Setora might have had more feelings for Kuzuku than she actually realized. Which, as depressing as that sounds, is kind of fitting, because Setora is not really good at like understanding emotions. So her not realizing that she likes Kuzuku that way kind of fits, sadly enough. I also really hope, I doubt they're going to do this, but I really hope that they show Kuzuku and Setora interacting a lot more in the future. Because the idea of like an overly rambunctious man-child and the calculated, like, skilled girl being together, even though they're both like really opposites, it works. It really works. I just wish the writer like knew how to make them flirt a little better. If I'm being honest, he's just not good at writing that kind of stuff. That's my video on Setora. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. I do want to make more videos about her and like the other characters in the party and what they bring to the story. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.